Hey, my name is Tom and I'm gonna tell you a little something about my exchange at the University of Calgary in Alberta, Canada. Okay, so this is Canada, eh? You got Vancouver right here, Toronto over here, and this is Alberta. Someone in Victoria told me once that it doesn't get more Canadian than Alberta. So, if you find yourself the back of a pickup truck blasting country and going to a bar called Cowboys, well, then you know where you were at. Alberta is the 6th largest province in Canada. It's still twice as big as Germany, even though it's only 5% of the population of Germany. It borders British Columbia to the west and Saskatchewan to the east. Let's look at this a little closer. Just to give you an impression how large this country actually is, take a look at the distance from Calgary to Edmonton. Doesn't seem too far, does it? It's actually like a 3 to 4 hours drive by car. Well, let's look at Calgary. Corinne Wilkinson, my tourism management professor, once said that Calgary is only interesting for 2 reasons. Once, the Stampede, and secondly, that one time the Calgary Flames reached Game 7 of the playoffs in 2004. That being said, Calgary is built around oil. It mostly features business and less of leisure activities. So let's check this out. What you can see here is the Bow River and the Elbow River over here. I know it. So, the university is over here, downtown, down there, and the ice hockey stadium is over here. I guess that's the most important thing to know. The weather around Calgary can be pretty unpredictable, especially because of the Chinook winds coming from the Rocky Mountains. So when I arrived in Calgary for the intro week in August, we had like plus 25 degrees for a few days. And when it started snowing in November, it reached about minus 40 with wind chill. But that's obviously an exception. Weather in winter averages at about minus 10 degrees or something. So you should bring along underpants. Even though it's pretty unpredictable and it can be really cold, it's quite beautiful. Even at the coldest days, you still got clear skies, which is pretty cool.
I'm from the Great White North, right? Like up above the states? Yeah. The big landmass that the rest of the world hates? Fuck yeah. We're like above that. Fucking north, I guess. The big patch of trees where everybody's bored to death. We're just chilling up here, sipping syrup, playing hockey. Before we learn to walk,
so the Canadians. The Canadians are very proud, but polite people, as you probably know. Obviously, not all the stereotypes about Canadian people are true. Like, I've never heard somebody say oot or boot, and I've never seen a Mountie, and I've never seen a moo. Well, I've seen an elk once. That's the sound elk make, by the way, in case you wondered. So apart from those stereotypes, the Canadians love their hockey. So the amount of hockey references and metaphors you'll hear is kind of ridiculous, but it's fun. So if the University of Calgary is the exchange destination of your choice, that's awesome. About 6 to 7 months before your exchange starts, Kitty Roy, the exchange coordinator from the Haskell School of Business in Calgary, will send you an email with a lot of information concerning application and housing. So let's get into that. The first thing you gotta do is to fill out this information sheet. So you just start with your name and address and the town of your exchange. It says that you already have to choose some courses, but don't worry, you can choose them now and drop some of them later and choose different ones. The most important thing to do here is to do it early. I did not do that, so I ended up with like huge choices of courses in the end, because most of the courses that are really great were already full, or I didn't have the prerequisites to get into them. In the beginning you have to email Kitty about the choices. Ms. Roy will inform you whether or not you'll get into your courses. As soon as you get your student ID, you can log onto MyURC, which is kind of like the MyUM at Maastricht University, enroll in courses yourself. You'll also see when the courses, so the lectures and tutorials, are happening, so you can kind of plan ahead and get yourself a nice long weekend. The next thing you should do is apply for student housing. I personally lived in Cascade Hall, as the few exchange students from Maastricht before me, which is a great place to live. So the coolest thing you can get there is a 4-bedroom apartment, which you will share with 3 other students. In Cascade, there are both international students and Canadian students.
Hey,
So if you're lucky, like me,
Tom's moving the fuck out.
you'll get to live together with 3 other Canadian students.
Sad. It's a sad day.
If you're less lucky, then you'll live together with 4 international students and you'll have to buy all your kitchen stuff, for example. Again, apply early, especially the rooms in Cascade Hall are in high demand. So you just go to their website, create an account, and you have to fill out some kind of profile about your preferences in music, in TV shows, and then measure your social competence in quite a weird way. Way to go, UFC! So in the end you can choose your own room, which is pretty cool. Take a look at the campus. Cascade Hall is right over here. Unfortunately, the Hascan School of Business is at the far other end of the campus, which is a walk of approximately 10 minutes. There are some first-year accommodations over here, and the Olympic Oval, where a few of the events of the Winter Olympics '88 took place. Mac Hall is over here. We'll find a lot of shops and a food court, and the Den, which you'll find to be an important place to be. The last thing you should do before you head over to Canada is apply for the buddy program. Buddy program pairs you with a Canadian student of the UFC, and if you are lucky, he'll pick you up from the airport. Thank you, Taryn, and help you with other important questions you may or may not have during your stay in Calgary. Well, that's about it. You're ready to go to Canada. You don't need a visa if you stay there less than 6 months. And you should probably check with your home health insurance if you're covered over there. So finally, some do's and don'ts for your time in Calgary. First of all, go out, see the Rockies, go hiking. If you like skiing, if you like snowboarding, join the skiing club. Those guys are crazy. Secondly, go see a hockey game. The Flames kinda suck, but the Calgary Hitmen are pretty cool. Go to the dam as often as you can. I mean, you'll meet everybody. Go enjoy Wing Wednesday. If possible, go to Jameson's. They have the best wings in town, and they're really cheap. Finally, thank the bus driver if you get off the bus, because apparently that's a thing. The don'ts. Don't hang around with people from your own nationality too much. I've seen a few Dutch people, and I've only actually met one German, so it's not going to be too hard to get out of their way. Don't study for the exams too much. They're not that hard, especially in tourism management. Don't try to steal empty jugs or glasses from the den. They don't like that. And finally, don't live off campus. Just try to get a place in Cascade Hall. It's the best decision I've ever made. So I'm quickly going to go over the courses I took at the UFC. The first thing I took was project management. It builds on all the knowledge we gained from supply chain at the University of Maastricht, but applies it only to projects mainly in the service industry. Brent was a really awesome professor. He has a lot of expertise and he presented everything in a very funny and enthusiastic way. The course also featured a simulation pretty much like the management game we had in the first year. Only that this time your responsibility was not to produce something, but to build a house. And you had to hire and fire different resources and assign them to tasks, find the critical paths, and so on. Piece of advice, if you take that course, do everything you can to hire a project manager in the beginning. It killed us. Most likely there's going to be free pizza too at some point. So, highly recommended. Management of International Trade. That's actually one of the best courses I've ever taken in university. It combines all your knowledge you've gained over the last 2 years and you have to apply it to a real life case. So you'll work together with an actual company and create a business plan for them. So what we did, we had to write a business plan for a $1 million Canadian oil company who wanted to expand to Kazakhstan. And the cool thing about that is the company will actually read the business plan and implement it. Also, the Professor Ray is really awesome. He has a lot of expertise, he works in consulting himself, and he helps you whenever you don't know what to do. So again, big recommendation. So, tourism management. It's all about marketing a place. So it obviously deals with the question how to best attract tourists or other people to your destination. Corinne Wilkinson actually works for Travel Alberta, so she knows what it's all about. The only downside of the course, though, is that the course will take place in the evening. So, anyways, it's an interesting and fairly easy course. The 2 exams you have to write are pretty easy as well, so I'd recommend it. Business negotiations. That's all about how to persuade your counterparts, how agreements are reached, and how disputes are settled. So, it's actually a very interesting course. It features role plays where you actually have to negotiate a case with other students. The huge disadvantages the course has is a very strict professor and 2 huge 20-page reflection papers. Furthermore, there's an obligatory textbook. So all in all, it's an interesting course, but I feel that for an exchange, it's far too much work. So, yeah. So the last non-business related course I took was Special Topics in Science, Technology and Society. The point is that those topics change every semester. Our topic was innovation, how innovation is created, how it creates wealth and knowledge, and how it affects society. It was a pretty cool course, especially because of the professor, Dr. Hawkins. You start off with reading a lot of papers about innovation, in our case, and it ends with a paper you have to write about a topic of your choice. So, even though the topic next year will be something different, I'd highly recommend it. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions left, the IRO has my email address. So, good luck!